Hello, folks. Today we are talking about how to write a high quality newsletter using AI. And I know you may be thinking, why is this guy in the car while he's explaining newsletters to me? Don't worry, I'll explain that here in a moment. But I'm actually going to write the newsletter with you inside of this video. So we're going to go through my entire process, maybe asking yourself, why should I listen to this guy's process? Well, this guy right here that's popping up on your screen, his name is Daniel Fazio. Daniel runs an offer called Client Ascension, and then as well, he runs an offer called Olympia and a SaaS company called Liskit. They are pumping dude about $1 million a month. And about 2 years ago or a year ago, I came in and overhauled Daniel's newsletter for him with this exact strategy that I'm about to talk to you about. I wrote his newsletter for about a year, and in that year, he went from like 300 or like 400K per year with the newsletter to $1 million per year. And really, it's just because this strategy works. I've implemented it with a lot of people's lists, and it gets results. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to break down the strategy for you in full, and I'm going to walk you through it and literally write a newsletter with you so you can see how it works. And if you want a Google Doc that breaks down the entire process, gives you the exact prompts that I use, shows you how to make some of the documents that I'm going to talk about inside this video, and it's just basically a recap, so you don't need to take notes, and you can just take that and literally plug it into like ChatGPT or Claude and just have it ask you questions for implementation. You can check out the description and you just trade me your email and I send you over that doc. So let's go ahead, let's get started. Okay, so before we dive into my process, I want to start by talking about some of the different styles of newsletters. There's like the, let's say, industry focused newsletter that just contains maybe different articles updating people about what's going on in the industry. And, you know, these newsletters, I don't really like them all that much. I don't think that they're actually valuable. I think that they're just kind of like a tabloid almost. You know, people do actually sell them, like literally they sell it as a business. And, you know, if that's your goal, go for it. I'm not going to show you how to do that in this video. The other style of newsletter is just like pure sales. All you do is you just pitch, and that's it. A lot of e-commerce brands do this. I think it's really dumb. For example, I worked with Carnivore Aurelius for a while. And one of the things that we did is we started doing founder-led newsletters. And when he implemented this strategy, it was working great. Oh my goodness, it was working great. All we did was we just shared his thoughts on multiple different areas of health and wellness and whatnot. And it worked. Like it legit, like it drove more sales than just pretty pictures of the same product. And in the info world, the way that people do this is just like pitching the same product over and over and over and over again. Now, why do I not like this? Okay, well, I'm going to give you an analogy that will help you understand this. So imagine that you had a door in your house, and every single time that you open this door, Billy Mays was waiting there, and he was trying to sell you something. So you open the door, and he goes, "Hi, Billy Mays here with a fantastic new product." And it's just the same product that he had last time. So like the first 2 or 3 times, you're going to open the door and be like, okay, I mean, that's cool, right? Like, but I mean, maybe I'll buy this. I don't know. But after time number 6, 7, 8, 9, 37, 62, 532, you're just going to stop opening up the email. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're going to stop opening up the email for the analogy, but you're going to stop opening up the door, right? And the door is the metaphor for the email. And so what I think is very prevalent, especially again, like in the info industry, is people that write newsletters this way. There's no value in the newsletter. It's like, hey, Nick, are you really still working a job, wondering how you can make 10K per month? Well, I've got something for you, shh emoji. And then it's like, it's like they send them to the VSL that they came from. It's so bad. It's like zero effort whatsoever put into the newsletter. And then they're wondering like, why is my unsubscribe rate so high? My open rate's dropping. I think I need to implement some new deliverability tactics. No, you need to stop being a fucking moron and stop sending people this garbage to their inbox. Nobody reads that. You would never read that. Why would you expect, like, how stupid is that? I would personally never read this, but my audience should read this. That makes zero sense. Zilch. None. Goose egg. That doesn't make any sense. So the strategy that I recommend to people is, drum roll please, provide value. If you're on my newsletter, you know that this is what I do. I provide a ton of value, and I only ask or do a pitch like once a week sometimes once every 2 weeks. Like I literally don't even have any space right now inside of my client roster, so I'm not pitching anything. I'm going to open up some more spots here in a bit, but as it stands, I'm just like, okay, there's no point. That doesn't mean I stop emailing. I still continue to write the newsletter. I continue to do that. But the thing is that it's all about creating the relationship. Guys, if you think about your newsletter as the central hub for building a relationship with your audience, you are going to do way better than 90% of people with newsletters out there. And the reason why I say this is because most people don't give a shit about their audience. They don't actually put any care into it. They don't provide any value. They're just trying to extract cash. And so if you're the one person in the niche who is actually providing more value than everyone else, you are going to become the guy in the niche. More people are going to like you. The only reason why people read newsletters is because they like the person writing the newsletter. It's as simple as that. So to start, for our baseline philosophy, make your newsletter valuable, containing stuff that is like actually useful, go figure, to the people that you're selling to. Now, how do you go about figuring out what to write about though? What value to share and how much should you share, et cetera, et cetera? Well, that is where we go to the next part of my process and we get out of the car. So right now I'm pulling up. I'm going to my favorite spot here in Austin, Texas. It's called Sun Life Organics, and it's the best coffee shop ever. You're going to see it here in my back window here in a moment. So this is a really cool coffee shop. It also has like smoothies and whatnot. Okay, so you can't see the name of the shop at all. So A+ production process. Oh, you can see the corner of it right there. So go to a coffee shop, get some coffee, sit down with a journal, okay? And I know you may be saying, Nick, this isn't AI. It needs to be AI. How do I make this with AI? I'm going to show you how to do the AI in a bit. Calm down. You don't want 100% of your newsletter to be written with AI. You want probably like 60% of the process to be done with AI. 40% should be done by you. So, okay, are we calm now? Okay, we're calm. Got it. So you're going to take some form of writing instrument and some writing notebook thing, and you want to go to some area where you can sit down and just write about people that you've worked with, people that you've actually helped, and think about what were the things they needed help with. What were the questions they had for you? What were the issues? What were the misconceptions? Another area that you could focus on is, what are the sacred cows that you kill? What do you see the industry doing that they shouldn't be doing? What are people not thinking about? What are people not doing properly? Okay. So you want to just sit down and brain dump for like 20 minutes about how you would go about helping your customer avatar in X specific realm. That's what we're going to do. So you're going to go do that, and then you're going to come back, and then you're going to take these topics, and what you're going to do is go on a walk. Now, why do you go on a walk? Well, there's something about when your body is in motion that some of the best insights are going to come out of your mouth, almost because your brain just kind of goes into unconscious competence mode. When you're just sitting there staring at the screen, just trying to get the idea out, it's not the same as you just going on a walk and just recording a voice note of you actually answering the question or giving your thoughts on the topic or sharing the statement about what you think is wrong with your industry or whatever the topic is that you brainstormed at the coffee shop or, in nature or whatever you did. I believe that the creativity part of things should be human. If you make the creativity part of things AI, it's going to sound like shit. It's not going to be good. People aren't going to want to read it because they can tell when something's human and when something's not. And you may say, oh no, Nick, like people don't care. I've tried it. It doesn't matter. I mean, hey, if you want to creatively, castrate yourself and just default everything to AI, by all means, go ahead. But around here in these parts, what we like to do is we like to make sure that the creativity and the topics and the ideas and the actual thoughts behind our content comes from us. And then we just let AI do some of the heavy lifting, like, actually writing it, editing it, etc., before we move it on to the actual platform that we're going to be scheduling the newsletter on. So go on a walk, record your thoughts on Otter, on Fireflies, on, just your voice memos app, and then upload it. And then you're going to take whatever the transcription is that you got, and you're going to upload it to either Claude or ChatGPT. And that's what we're going to do next. So now is where the AI process actually begins. So we have the creativity process that comes from our noggin and our unique expertise. And now we can actually get started with our AI. So I have Claude open and I have Fireflies open. I'm going to go through both those, and I'm just going to walk through how I actually go about doing this with the different AI tools. So I like Claude because Claude lately has been writing a little bit better than ChatGPT, and it got rid of some of the weird, like I would just say like, hey, could you write this a little more directly? And I'd be like, I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable writing that. So it stopped doing that, which is really good. And also they added this project section, which I really, really like. And I'll talk about all that here in a moment. So I'm going to go over to Fireflies. As you can see, I've already uploaded my audio note. I went on the walk and I recorded an audio note about unique selling propositions and the wrong way that people go about creating a unique selling proposition and the right way to go about doing it. And so I'm just going to download the PDF. And so I'm going to download it. And it's going to take a second here. And while we're waiting for that, I'm going to go over to Claude. Okay, so that's over there. And I'm going to go over to my projects. So with the projects, I have right over here a newsletter tab. So you can literally just go back, you just create new project. And what I've done is I have uploaded a bunch of my writing to this project. So you can see here's some of the stuff that I've created. I then have some newsletters that I've written and whatnot. And so a lot of this is just newsletters and outside writing that I've created. And the whole purpose of this is to be able to just have it write similarly to me. So now what I can do is just take that file I just downloaded, upload it there. And the prompt that I give it is super important. So you guys will see I oftentimes use this thing in the corner here that's called voice in. If you just go on Google, and a bunch of people always message me and like comment on this, and I mentioned it multiple times, but voice in on Google Chrome Web Store, and you can just do exactly what I'm doing right now, which is you just click it. I want you to take this transcript that I recorded and turn it into a high quality, well-written newsletter. Okay, so I have the prompt, that's the command. Okay, so this is the command. Now, what I want to do is also add what I do not want it to do. Okay, so you could see that I have, here's what I want you to do. I then always add what I don't want it to do. So in this case, it would be something along the lines of, I do not want you to add anything outside of what I said. And I also do not want you to create a listicle or a bulleted summary of what I have said. Rather, I want a well thought out piece of writing. Okay, so you can see that I have that first part. Here's what to do, here's what not to do. And then from there, now what we want to do is give it some sort of like stylistic preference. So think about, who do you like and whose writing do you admire? Who's someone that emulates the style that you want to write in, and just go from there. For me, I really like the way that Clayton Makepeace writes. I always liked Clayton Makepeace. Rest in peace, one of the greatest copywriters of all time. And I just like using his style. And so you don't need to use Clayton Makepeace. Maybe you align more with like Frank Kern, or maybe you really like, I don't know, like David Sutcliffe or something like that. You know, he's a popular psychologist in this space. And so I would say you just pick your favorite author. And so I'm just going to go and I'm going to say, Clayton, I would like for you to write this as if you are master copywriter. And be sure to still sound like me, yet I would like for you to emulate Clayton in my writing. So to you and I, or to a human, that instruction may not make sense, but Claude and ChatGPT understands what I'm getting at here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit send now. Move this over to the side here. And it's just going to pump out draft for me. So let's see what we got here. Ruminated on, stand by, I'll craft this. Okay, so the truth about your unique selling proposition. One of the main issues I see is that people try to differentiate themselves in their market. People trying to differentiate themselves in their market think they can just toss a prompt in ChatGPT and boom, instant unique selling proposition. Let me be brutally honest, that's retarded. Why? Because how is that going to make you unique when literally anyone can do it? There's nothing unique about it whatsoever. No one is going to find anything unique about it, and it's just going to sound like AI gobbledygook. Is that how you spell gobbledygook? I thought it was gobbledygook. Well, you learn something new every day, kids. It's not that AI isn't useful. It's that we don't want to use AI to castrate ourselves creatively from the business. What you're developing, that when you're developing that unique selling proposition, when you're crafting that differentiating factor, you have to base it on something real. What if you're not actually unique? Okay, blah, blah, blah. And so we have all this. So now I can already see points where I would say it a little bit better. And I just personally am like, oh, this could be different or whatnot. But this is a good like first take at this. And so I could, if I didn't really like it, or if it said something that I didn't like, or, whatever, I could go and I could do another one and just be like, hey, this is what I don't like. I'd like for you to change this, this, and this, and make sure that it has this, this, and this in there or whatever. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to head over to Google Docs. So let's go ahead and let's paste that in there. Okay. So this is a little long and I feel like we could probably get rid of some of the stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to restart this and I'm going to get rid of this top part. And what I'm going to do is add in the subject line. And the subject line, I'm going to zoom in so you guys can probably see more of what I'm saying. I like to start with that because I already know, kind of already thought about what it is. I would say the subject line in this case would be something like, you're not a unique snowflake. Maybe I should say, actually, you are a unique snowflake. Okay, so something like that. One of the main issues I see is that people trying to differentiate themselves in their market think they can just toss a prompt in ChatGPT. I hate M's dashes. I hate them. I don't know why anyone uses them. I've always felt like this is a very big combative point for most writers, but I just think it's a stupid grammatical tool. If we have a comma, why do we use this? Because think about it. What is the difference? What's the difference? There's no difference there. And boom, it's read the same way. I just think it's stupid. I don't mean to make this video an attack on M's dashes, but that's my thoughts. Part into ChatGPT and boom, instant unique selling proposition. Let me be brutally honest. That's retarded. I'm going to bold and italicize that one. Why? Because how is that going to make you really unique or make you unique when literally anyone can do it? I'm just going to say how, right? We don't need to say the why there. So I'm just editing it now to get rid of some of the stuff. There's nothing unique about it whatsoever. I'm just going to get rid of all that. It's just going to sound like AI gobbledygook. It's not that AI isn't useful. Rather, we don't, I'm going to actually just say it's just that we don't want to use AI to castrate ourselves creatively from our business. When you're developing that your unique selling proposition, you have to base it on something real. Okay. Right. So you can see there's a lot of stuff it's saying that we don't need to have there. So now what if you're not actually unique? I like having the headers in there and it looks pretty good on ConvertKit and whatnot. And we can have, here's the uncomfortable truth. If you don't have anything unique about your business, the worst thing you can do is attempt to be unique. Sometimes you don't need to be unique, right? Sometimes your differentiating factor is simply price. Sometimes it's customer support or turnaround time. There are plenty of people who do Facebook ads and their differentiating factor is just price or something along those lines. Okay. Again, the worst thing you can do is try to be unique when you're not unique. Now, how to discover your true differentiation? We can just now, if you are genuinely unique, if you genuinely are unique, you need to figure out what about what you do is different from everyone else. Sometimes you might be thinking, I don't know what that is. Okay, this is just like, again, you got to think about when you recorded it, it may just be grabbing stuff from what you said that was just kind of you riffing. And so you could just get rid of that, right? This is why I always advocate. This is where I'm going to advocate for you to go talk to your customers. Go talk to them. See, we already said that. They'll probably, okay, we can get rid of that. They'll probably tell you a thing or two about why you are unique, or why they chose you over the competition, or why they like your solution better than everyone else's. They're going to say stuff that maybe you didn't think of beforehand. That's awesome. That's exactly what we're looking for. All right. So interviewing your customers is one way to do it. Take the transcripts. I'm just going to get rid of that. Take the transcripts from those interviews, upload them to Fireflies or ChatGPT, then ask what are the differentiating factors about my business based on what my customers have said in these interviews. So then I can go and get rid of that. We're not asking ChatGPT to do all the work for all the thinking for us. I'm just going to say just the manual labor. Okay. So the we care more trap. Maybe you're in a position where you already know what your differentiating factor is. I'm going to just get rid of this. I'm going to say, now, here's what everyone tries to do. They try to say, here's what everyone does. They say something like, well, we just care more than everyone else. Let me tell you something, bucko. People don't give a shit that you care more. Nobody cares that you care more. Go figure. Go figure. Because everyone says they care more. And with services, you could say that actually, I think I go into this a little bit later. Okay, so we can just get rid of that. So I'm just going to go into that, and I'm going to add in the next line, and I'll say something like, nobody cares that you care more. Go figure, because everyone says they care more. You need to find the thing that you do that is actually unique, or which will usually be some sort of a feature, a process, a system, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. On my newsletter, you see that I provide a lot of value. So in my newsletter, yeah, I guess in my newsletter, you say that I provide a lot of value. So I do highly valuable news. I provide a value. And then once, twice, 3 times, maybe 4 times a month, I drop a call to action. That's all I do, right? By doing that, what ends up happening is I get goodwill from people, and they're excited to hear from me. People actually read my emails. People are excited to hear what I have to say. There's not a, oh, fuck, another pitch coming your way reaction when I send out an email. What I found is that a lot of people, especially in the info, coaching, and agency space, make everything they send out a pitch. Everything is some sort of, hey, you should come join my group, or hey, you should join my mastermind, or hey, you should buy this product. Conversion. While I understand the need to be a capitalist and have an actual conversion mechanism as the goal, I think it's incredibly short-sighted. A way better long-term solution is to focus more of the effort and energy and effort in the newsletter on providing value. So my differentiating factor when I was selling newsletters as a service was that we create highly valuable newsletters that are more like blog articles that you're sending to your list 4 or 5 times a week. So that way we send your pitch, it doesn't leave a bad taste in your mouth. We go from a highly pitch-focused newsletter to a highly value-focused newsletter. That's kind of, that is a quality differentiating factor. I'm writing higher quality stuff. But yes, my approach, I'm going to say this, that is a quality differentiator. Yes. I'm going to say, you know what? I could just literally get rid of this line. So again, like just get rid of stuff that's just like not necessary. This clearly differentiates me from most services. And it makes selling my service really easy. Okay, we can get rid of this. This is just me rambling a little bit. Okay, so here's the key. If you make a concerted effort to figure out what everyone is doing that you don't like, that clearly doesn't get good results, or that isn't a good practice, it will be extremely easy for you to find your differentiating factor. Consumers don't just have one option like they did in the 1920s. In every single niche, in every single category, people have multiple options. I highly recommend I think I already said focusing. I kind of already said this. Sometimes finding what you need to say about your service that separates you from the competition is as simple as letting your customers tell you. Sometimes it's recording yourself talking about why you don't like your industry and what your competitors, just making it a little bit clearer, competitors do wrong. Sometimes it's focusing all of your time, effort, and energy on researching the competitors, seeing what you don't like, and then figuring it out. I've already said that. And so the real meat of differentiation. Differentiation is huge, and differentiation is not just quality. Again and again, Differentiation is not just quality. It is definitely not care. Okay. So if you're going to differentiate, actually differentiate. So if you're going to differentiate, actually differentiate. Don't just try and think you would actually differentiate. The worst thing, again, I think I could say something like, to wrap it up, just like, so if you're going to differentiate, we can get rid of this heading as well. Actually differentiate. Otherwise, you just sound like a marketer. Slinging some shit. Okay, and then just Nick, that's my sign off always. Okay, and there we go. Boom, newsletter. Okay. Maybe I can come up with some different subject lines. So I could take this newsletter, I could bring it back, I could go to Claude, I can put it in there, and then I could say, hey, this is the newsletter that I decided to run with. I would like for you to come up with 15 Frank Kern funny style subject lines that are designed to click. Okay, and so it's just going to come up with whatever ones. And ChatGPT wrote my Now I'm Broke, Stop Trying to Be Nick, How to Stand Out Without Making Shit Up. That's great. I love that. How to stand out without making shit up. There we go. And then I'll just do, just so I don't get flagged by the whatever email service provider. And there we go. Boom. I just take that, copy and paste it into ConvertKit or whatever, send it out to my list, and I'm good to go. And that's it, guys. Now, I like batching this out sometimes, but I've also found that sometimes my best work just comes from like letting inspiration strike. So you don't always need to batch things out. You could just do, 3, 4, 5 of these a week and just run this process. It's pretty straightforward. And I would batch out at least the idea generation side of things and then just go on a walk and, do the exact process that I gave you. And it'll be pretty straightforward. Now, if you want more of the prompts, if you want a little bit more of a detailed guide and going into some of the no-goes, like why I'm editing it the way that I edited it and how I go about doing things and what I would do differently and what I would swap out, that's what's inside of that Google Doc that's in the description down below. So you can go down there, you trade me your email, and I send you over that Google Doc, and it has all the information you need. So go do that, and I'll talk to you soon. All the best, guys. Have a good one.